Hey guys, what's up? So last night I was in the process of making a Windows 7 repair disk using my computer. I don't know why I did that. I just figure I make this disk in case something were to go wrong with my computer. Then I'll just pop this in and then just fix it like that, which is great. And the best part is that I have an optical drive on my computer, so I can put a CD in there. Now, wait. How would you do this if you don't have an optical drive? If you were using computers that did not contain an optical drive, and then you can't put a disk in there without having to buy an external hard drive, well, you can do USB drives and hard drives just to put your repair stuff on there. And okay, I'm going random here, but this does have something to do with optical drives, just so you know. Alright guys, so as you guys might not have known if you don't really pay attention to the Apple world or just the computer world in general, I would say this began when Apple started eliminating optical drives in their most recent computers. So what did they eliminate it at? Well, they eliminated the optical drive on the MacBook Air when they made the very first one. They continued to do the same thing with the second generation. Then they started doing that with the Retina display MacBook Pros. And then they started doing it with the iMacs, the most recent iMacs. And now they did it for the most recent Mac Pros, the little cylindrical desktop computer made by Apple, which has to be the most expensive Mac out there. Oh, I forgot to mention one more Mac, the Mac Mini, because actually I believe the regular Mac Mini is eliminated and now you only got the Mac Mini server. However, the only computer you can get from Apple currently, as of, what day was it today? It's March. Oh, I can't even see the date because I got a timer going on here, so it'll ring when my laundry's finished. Definitely won't be doing that in this video, but today is March 9th, and so currently on this day you can get a 13-inch Non-Retina MacBook Pro from Apple. So that's the regular unibody MacBook Pro aluminum with an optical drive, and then you got a traditional hard drive in there as well. And of course you can upgrade it to SSD, you can upgrade it to RAMs and all that. So what is this video about? This video is about the future of computers with no optical drives. And I don't know how else to explain this, but like, I feel like as the years are going by, developers or producers that are making computers are starting to get into the digital life in computing. So for instance, you know, Apple, like I said, they eliminated the optical drives, and now you started seeing that happening when Windows manufacturers are making Ultrabooks with no optical drives on there. Why is that? Because they want the computer to be thin and light and to be fast as well. And so they started by eliminating the optical drive, and then Apple could take the modules out of an SSD, and then they make it into a flat little hard drive, and then they stick it into their computers. And then as far as the RAM is concerned, you can't do anything about the RAM when they started doing that, because the RAM is actually soldered into the motherboard. Now, at first I thought the hard drive was soldered into the motherboard as well, and then if that hard drive dies, then you have to buy a whole new computer. Well, actually that was not the case. In a most recent video I watched, it was about how to upgrade your hard drive in a 13-inch MacBook Pro Retina display. And I'm like, wait a minute. You cannot swap a hard drive out of a Retina display MacBook Pro because, first of all, Apple soldered it into the motherboard. I was wrong. In fact, the hard drive is the appearance of the hard drive for the MacBook Pro Retina display as well as the MacBook Air. Not sure about the iMacs or the Mac Pro, or the Mac Mini, but I do know for the MacBook Air and the MacBook Pro Retina display, the hard drive almost looks like a RAM stick. And I believe it's longer than a RAM stick that you would normally put in a laptop in the older MacBook Pros or the MacBook Aluminum. And yeah, I thought that was soldered into the motherboard, but apparently that wasn't. However, so far I only see one other manufacturer who developed their versions of those kind of hard drives, and the company that did that is OWC, Otherworld Computing. It's actually the same solid state drive, except from what I've heard in the video that I watched, it's actually better and they got more storage out of it. So what they have was like, I think it was like 256 gigabytes or something, or 250, I can't remember, but it was around the 200 range. And then they upgraded it to a 400 gigabyte range hard drive. And then they went through the process of reinstalling their OS and all that. So, here's my thought. So, since the computers that don't have an optical drive, what are you going to do if your operating system were to crash or something? Of course, you could install the OS onto a USB drive. I know you can do that with OS 10 using disk utility. I'm not sure how you can do that with Windows. I'm not sure if this repair disk will allow you to reinstall your OS, which I don't think it is. You could boot from this CD, but this is supposed to help you repair your computer. I think if I wanted to reinstall Windows 7, if I were to replace my hard drive, then I would have to buy a whole new copy of Windows 7, or just buy Windows 8 and then upgrade this computer to Windows 8. I can do that. This is actually compatible with Windows 8. But the point is the digital life reliable yet? In my opinion, I don't think so. I still think that if you were to install any operating system or do like any installation, it's still best to do over disk, in my opinion. And the fact that these optical drives are being eliminated on the computers, I feel like it's just too early. But at the same time, this is kind of a good thing because now it's just in the process of becoming... My camera decided to die on me. It cut me off in the middle of me talking. Yeah, I should have replaced the battery. I saw I had one bar left before I started shooting the video, but I'm like, you know what? I'll try to make this quick as I can, and then hopefully it doesn't shut off. But yeah, it shut off. So I switched to this battery, and then my previous battery is charging right now. So in a way, like I said before I got cut off, this is a good and a bad way at the same time. The good thing is it's trying to become better. Great. The bad thing is, sometimes you have fun making these CDs. I don't know about you, but I actually have fun making these CDs myself. Just so I have these as a backup. I don't like using USB drives. I don't know. I just prefer a CD. This is basically just personal preference. But, you do what you have to do, and you do what's convenient for you. And if you need to install an OS onto your computer, and the fact that you got to do it with a digital download only, okay. I guess that's convenient. I know that's convenient with OS 10 because if you need to put that on a separate USB flash drive or something in OS 10, you can do that easily. I'm pretty sure with disk utility. With Windows, I'm not sure, because the way I see this, you're running OS 10 Mountain Lion on the Macs, for example, right? Because you upgrade from Lion to Mountain Lion and you paid for the update. Once you pay for the update, you pretty much bought the operating system, and then you can copy it onto a disk or to a USB flash drive or anything like that. I can't guarantee, or they can't guarantee, that your computer will boot from that operating system, but hey, you have the option if you need to reinstall your OS. With Windows, I'm not sure. I think I would have to buy a new copy of Windows 7, unless if this repair disk helps me reinstall my OS just like that, then okay, fine. But I just made this in case I run into trouble with my PC like I did recently, and then hopefully this will repair it. Haven't tried using the computer to boot from this CD, but maybe I'll try doing that with some other computer and not touch this way. But anyway, as far as the optical drives being eliminated, again, I still feel like it's too early. Maybe for you guys, you might not have a problem with that because not a lot of people use CDs these days. For me, I still use a CD, and if you guys don't know what I've been thinking about, I've been thinking about swapping a hard drive out of my computer and then putting a new hard drive in there because of my most recent problem with my computer. I have no idea how that happened, like I said, but it's fixed right now and it's fine. But one day I'm going to do a full restore to factory settings with this computer, and at the same time I'm thinking, if I do the restore, should I put a new hard drive in there just so it'll like keep itself a good lifetime? Meaning, I don't know how else to explain this. Like, expand the life longer, because sometimes hard drives can be corrupted, and when your hard drive's corrupted, then your whole computer pretty much stops working. And the hard drive I was thinking about putting in this thing is maybe an SSD, but if I put a SSD in there, then how am I going to reinstall my operating system onto that hard drive with all the drivers and everything without having to clone my hard drive onto the SSD? Because when you're cloning an operating system to an SSD, the speed of your SSD decreases a little bit. It may not be much, but for me, I prefer to do a clean install. And I can't figure out how to install Windows 7 onto a new hard drive without having to buy a whole new copy. And it looks like my best bet is to buy a whole new copy. So I might just forget about this and just save up some money, which I'm doing right now, to learn how to build my own PC. And here's another thing I want to get to. When you build your own PC and you put an optical drive in there, you're more than likely wanting to install your OS via an optical drive. If you don't have an optical drive in there and you feel like you have no need for it, then okay, I guess you can boot it from a USB flash drive. But what if that USB flash drive is corrupted and then you can't boot your operating system, and then all you can do is just go through the motherboard settings and you can't even install your OS on it? You could make another USB flash drive. Again, there's like so many options and so many ways to do this, but for me, I still prefer to do it on a disk. So, I don't know. The reason why I brought this whole video up is because I heard that the 13-inch MacBook Pro that's recently selling from Apple, the non-Retina one with the optical drive, is supposed to like stop selling directly from Apple this year or something. I could be wrong on that, but you could go on Amazon or something and then just get the older MacBook Pros with the optical drive for you know, a little over $1,000 for either the 13 or the 15-inch. But the thing is, you won't be able to get the upgrades directly from Amazon, therefore you would have to upgrade it yourself. Meaning, okay, if you get a MacBook with 4 gigabytes of RAM, but you want to upgrade it to 8 gigabytes of RAM, and you don't want to take it apart yourself, you can't do that. You gotta find the one with 8 gigabytes of RAM, and if you want a brand new, it'll be there, but sometimes it may not be there. So if you want a brand new MacBook, you better get that now. So, I don't know. It'll suck to see that thing go away, but then again, that's like old tech. I wouldn't say old technology, it's still modern, but that's like a retro design, and now they're going into this thin and light design, which is great, but no optical drive, I don't know how that's gonna work out for me. Although, don't get me wrong, those MacBooks do look really nice. The MacBook Air and the MacBook Pro Retina display, those look very slick. Same thing with the new iMacs, but the fact that if I want an optical drive and I gotta buy it externally, that's just putting more money into the computer than buying a computer with an optical drive directly built in there at a much cheaper price. And I don't know, this just seems very weird to me still. Maybe eventually it'll grow on me and then I'll trust digital life, but as of right now, I'm still going to try to stick with CDs. And if I do get a MacBook one day, or like some sort of Mac in general, like the modern Macs with no optical drives, then I will have to force myself to get a USB external optical drive. I almost said hard drive, but optical drive is what I meant. So that's it. Thanks so much for watching. Do you guys believe that the life of disk is going to be over and we won't need it anymore? Or do you guys still feel like, no, we still need disk, and yeah, let them do this, but these guys over here can stick to what we already have? Alright, that's it. Take care, everybody.